his name was Daniel Hahn. He was also the designer of the Red House. So an aerial view of this school, you will see that it's in an H. So it is described as being German Renaissance in its style. Right next to it is the home of the bishop of the Anglican Church, and currently they are trying to raise funds to restore this building. It's leased to the church for 999 years. So hopefully enough money would come along so that they would have the restoration work taking place. Right next to it is Prada's house, or Mille Fleurs, suggesting that it was surrounded by lots of flowers. Now, what makes this building interesting to me is the fact that Mrs. Prada acquired this property and gave it to her husband as a wedding present. Yeah. And Mr. Prada was the mayor of Port of Spain during World War I. The only one that is privately owned is this one called Ambad's house. Mr. Ambad acquired material from Erin, from Italy, from Spain to build his home, but he could not continue paying for it. So it changed hands a few times, and now it belonged to the Morgan family. So 4 generations of the Morgan family live in this property that is referred to as the Ambad's house, or Rumo, a combination of Rudal, a previous owner, and Morgan. Right next to it, this is the Archbishop's house. It is described as being Romanesque or semi-oriental. Whitehall was owned by Leon Agostini. I don't know how long he lived there, we could not say, but it changed hands a few times, and it came to be in the hands of the Henderson family. They were Americans. And when the Americans came there, they commandeered the home, and so it became the headquarters of the American Army during the Second World War. And last but not least is Stallmeyer's castle. Mr. Stallmeyer came from Germany, and he came, they say, with nothing. But he was an excellent speaker. So he made friends with the governor. He purchased property, and that's in Cocorite, started planting coconuts. And he was the one that started this business of selling coconuts around the savannah, because he did not like alcohol. Of course, I say he's probably turning in his grave, because Johnny and coconut water normally go well together. Across on your right, we have the Hollows, which was in fact a reservoir during 1846. So it's now dried out, but that is why we have this dugout area in the savannah. When the French came in 1783, they started giving out lands in the valleys, because they say that in the valley, the land was very fertile. So of course here, they started planting cocoa and coffee and cotton and all of that. As a matter of fact, when they were doing an inventory of businesses found here, they found 3 rum distilleries in Maraval. You had one that was being powered by a windmill in Maraval. Many families came, and Pichet, I mentioned to you, was one of those families. So Champs-Élysées was towards the south, and the other major estate, Mocha, was to the north. So these were the major estates, and then eventually Mr. Bossier started dividing it. So that is why we have so many people living in here. Of course, everybody here spoke patois. Up on the hill to your right side, dedicated to Our Lady of Lourdes, and you would see that church. We're always passing it, but we never really pay attention to it. That church has been there since 1871, and the materials used came from within this area in building it, as well as they used the labor of the people here.
first part of the French Connection tour where we took a sojourn through Port of Spain. Tell me a little bit about where we're going now.
All right, so now we are on the Shoulder Road, and we are going up to the church that is dedicated to Our Lady of Guadalupe. So that would be our first stop. And there we would meet our guide, Podesta, that will tell us a lot more about the church, and then we would continue our ride through the village of Paramin.
Right, you mentioned to me that we're going to be taking these jeeps. So we're going to be transfer from the comfort of our maxi taxi, and we're going into these jeeps. And the first thing Sherry asked me is, you look so nice with your nice shoes and so on. If you see the 6-inch heels that I'm wearing, I would advise do not wear those heels when you're going into these jeeps to head up into Paramin. But, you know, I've been doing it for many years, so we'll see. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Our Lady of Guadalupe was chosen for this church because we consider ourselves peasant farmers here, and the first place that this patron saint appeared was in Mexico, and she appeared to a peasant farmer there by the name of Juan Diego. If you look up, let me draw your attention to the left here. Do you see a gentleman there kneeling before the patron saint there? That is Juan Diego, and she appeared over 300 years ago in Mexico to that person. And she asked for a church to be built in her honor there. Okay? I'll give you a walk around the church now. Yes? Alright, the first thing is that this entire area here was like a mountain, a hill. And they had to use 1,000 pounds of dynamite to get, the foundation here. As you can see, we have lots of stonework here. Right? And it's because of the blasting, we got the stone, so some of it was used here. The first thing when I entered the church for the first time, the first thing that came to me was that this looks like an amphitheater, not a church. First thing I saw was that the altar is not elevated, it was low down. So I always boast and I tell people that the priest who thought of this, his name is Father Kevin de Lugre, he was Irish. And I always tell people he thought of any and everything imaginable with the church. We have washrooms, we have geriatric washroom, we have the males washrooms downstairs. Because of where the church is, as I said before, an amphitheater, he even thought of short people sitting to the back. Yeah? Okay. Let's go up. What you're seeing there, the stained glass, it depicts various biblical stories. All right? That's the first stained glass you're seeing here. Then we come down. That's the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe here. And as I said before, lots of stonework, so you get a cool sensation in here. And natural AC. All right? Natural AC. Okay, the first thing let me point out to you. Can you see that there's like a plaque or a stone there? It bears a message from Pope John Paul II. He apologized to the international community for having oppressed people. A lot of people were forced to change to Roman Catholics. Okay? And the entire wall here is known as a wall of remembrance. Each stained glass represents the colors of flags from four countries where we had our first missionaries. And on every gate you're seeing there, you have message. Joy, pain, glory. Throughout the path of life, people do experience glory, we experience pain, we experience joy, yes? So it's like memory. At the top, it's like a monogram for the various order in the Roman Catholic, the priesthood. You have the Dominican order, you have the Franciscan order. So it's like monograms for those orders, okay? Down to you all want to come up a bit? So we have 2 days service. One is 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning and Tuesday afternoon, 6:30 p.m. The choir sings some songs in Patois, okay? And we have a service which is done in Patois. You know, Shove Sunday, we say Dimanche Gua, Big Sunday. On that day, we have a Patois Mass here. All right, so everything is done in Patois, and it's very different. And when the offering is going up, it is brought up in the original wear that the ladies used long ago, which is known as a driette. It looks like, you know what the ballet dancers use, right? And they carry it up and they dance, carrying it up straight up on the altar. It's like the main event at carnival time here, all right? Because of our tradition, the patois, okay? So the choir sits there, and up, if you go up, I pointed out to you Our Lady of Guadalupe. In the middle, you have the Resurrection, and to the right, you have St. Martin de Porres, yeah? We come down, and we have altars. You see the altars there, right? You all can come up, take a closer look at it. Around each altar, you have a Tobago coral stone. I always tell people you have to be vigilant of the environment, right? So the coral was dead. It was not alive when they took it out, right? So nobody could get punished for that. Around here, you have the symbol there represents 3 teardrops. I've researched the 3 teardrops, and on the computer, you have both negative and positive with 3 teardrops. So look it up. But the meaning I would say is like the Trinity, 3 in 1, okay? Yeah. Now in this altar, there's a time capsule, and it has relics from the Uganda martyrs. You have a piece of the Berlin Wall. You have a stone from the Alma Cathedral in Jerusalem, as well as, I said relics from the Uganda martyrs, yeah? So in there, don't ask me when it is going to be open because I don't know, okay? And there's a plaque bearing the stuff they have in there to the back. Okay, this area here is the baptismal area here. And that's fresh spring water, which is pumped. So you have a spring running to the back, and the fresh water is pumped here. So this is where, you know, baptism will take place. The water is very, very cold, and we have live fishes in here. So normally, if anybody, you know, this is, well, you know what a calabash is, right? Yeah. So, and long ago, we used to use this a lot. Well, we still do, eh? As we have this here, let me tell you something. You know, long ago, the old people had lots of sayings, right? And a lot of people used to use the calabash. I think in Trinidad, really, a lot of people still use the calabash, and even in their bathrooms. And you know why? You know why people use calabash? They say people who use calabash to bathe, it would ward off evil from them. You all don't know that? All right, so you better get one, right? You better get one. Okay? Okay, normally when we have service, the water pumps, it flows from there, so it falls. It's like heavenly here on a Sunday morning. I always enjoy it because you have water pouring here like a waterfall. You have birds chirping because remember it's very early in the morning. You have birds chirping. You have water flowing here, and the choir very dynamic is the word, yeah. And it is very, how to say, heavenly in here on a Sunday morning. It's very enjoyable. You should come visit 7 a.m. Sunday morning, yeah. And what happened on a Sunday, when we have service here on a Sunday morning, after service you have coffee outside, you have bacon boljol being served, both fried bake as well as roasted bake. You have ice cream, sometimes you have little knickknacks for the kids on a Sunday morning. I always tell people this is like the biggest social event for the week in Paramin, because you know, and you get to meet everybody, because a whole week everybody busy, so it's like, oh, and embracing, good morning, how are you going, how was your week, that kind of thing. So in that way we keep the community spirit.
We've made it up to Tetimon, which I understand to be the head of Little Hill. And I have with me Choco and Podesta, who Choco is fluent in patois. So I'm very excited to hear a little bit about patois and to hear him speak it. And Podesta will do the translation for me. If you were to just have a look at the background that we're sitting, not right behind me, but in front of me, and we'll have a conversation with some of the other guys and ladies who accompanied us on the tour of the French Connection a little after we speak with Choco. So, Choco, good afternoon.
Bonjour.
How are you?
Bienvenue à Paramin. Means welcome to Paramin.
I got that. Thank you so much. Tell me a little bit about the background of the French people in Paramin.
The French came in with the cedula of population in 1778. They started to arrive, and that is coming out of that time. There was political and religious. Well, politically, you had the revolution of 1776 coming out of that. Et puis là, yo vini site yo mène culture yo, et puis langage yo, et puis jodi jour nous ka parler patois toujours. And I said